Smart Sound.
Hello everyone, welcome to the EFF Zone. I'm your co-host Vladimere LOUISSANT.
And I'm Herman Turner.
Herman, the 15th season of the EFF League has started, and there was many breaking news that happened before the season started. We're going to give you a recap of what happened before week 1, and then we'll get into the 4 weeks that's occurred in the regular season, and you'll be caught up to date with everything that's going on in the EFF League. Well, the season started with a lot of breaking news. A big merger. 3 teams, 3 captains decided to combine, join forces, and start their own team. Street Finest, Captain Sammy, White Shadow Captain RJ, and Demolition Crew's Captain Detroit decided to join forces they're like the Miami Heat from back in 2011. To join forces and start their own team, SOA. Now Herman, a lot of people gave them a lot of flack because of this. What do you think about this merger?
I think it was good. I think it was bad. Some of the mergers are just not too, I don't know. Some of the mergers I've seen are just not too advantageous for some of the teams. I know Johnny is still doing a lot of work. I saw that merger. And I know Johnny's a hard worker and still seems like he's doing a whole bunch of work. Yeah, I think it's good because he's a talented player.
The merger did bring a lot of talented guys together, and from each team. Yeah. Street Finest, Sammy took, of course, his cousin, Tyree. Detroit decided to bring Chris, a hell of a player, quarterback.
Very good player.
Mike James also left Onyx and then played with Demolition Crew. Now he's quarterback / wide receiver on the team. A lot of talented players on that team. But can they get together? Because you can bring a lot of talent together, but it doesn't mean that they're all going to merge and have the chemistry that they need. They've been struggling so far in the season. We'll get into that a little bit later on with their record. But you also mentioned Johnny, who's been doing a lot. Seems that he's been doing a little too much. But that's why he thought maybe the merger would help him alleviate some of the stress that he had on previous teams. Do you think they can come? Do you think the chemistry can finally get together? They can get in sync and become the team that they think they can be.
With multiple practices, I do believe that. If they show up just every week to come play football, no, I do not. No, I do not. But if we put a little time into some of the off-field activities, drills, so forth and whatnot, I think the team could come together. I think, like most teams, I think it's about the chemistry between the leadership and, and the ship at hand and everybody who's on it involved. So I think with that team, Detroit had a good team that he had brought into the merger. I think Sammy is a very good player. He's also the face. T is a very good player. Johnny is also a very good player. And Chris is a hell of a quarterback, a hell of a thinker, a hell of an athlete. I think they have all the pieces and tools that they need. Like I said, they probably need to put a little extra time off field and not just show up every week if that's not already happening.
And because of the merger, a lot of players were left stranded, like abandoned children. They needed adoption. So a lot of players from Street Finest decided they needed to be adopted. They were orphans. They were orphans. They needed an adoption. So a lot of players got drafted or were selected. A lot of players went to Empire State that were formerly of Street Finest.
I think one of the travesties with that was probably the quarterback situation with Kenny. You know what I'm saying? Very talented quarterback, very good thinker. He also has a Super Bowl, under his belt.
Well, that was a little problem, a lot of people were saying, because of that Super Bowl MVP that he helped lead Street Finest to. My sources say that they thought Kenny was just a little too big.
How many teams, be it the NFL or be it the EFFL, repeat?
Not many teams. Only 2 teams that I can remember.
On either side.
Terror Squad,
repeat.
And OGs. And we'll get into Terror Squad a little bit later also.
Like I've said, not in too many leagues, be it the NFL or the EFFL, that you have back-to-back. You do have some. I know in our league we had a few, and I know in the NFL they have a few. But, for the most part, you need to give some of these quarterbacks the next year. You got to remember, everybody comes after them, be it physically, be it verbally, be it mentally. The opposition, their team, even Kenny's team expects so much from him because he was Super Bowl MVP.
I
So I just think it was something that maybe the team was willing to deal with the adjustments. Maybe it wasn't. But you know, we're in the present right now, and Kenny's gone in the merger, and he's now part of Empire State.
Right, now with the merger, like I said, a lot of players left. Kenny now is a quarterback at Empire State because another news that was happening in the offseason, Smitty left Empire State.
Yeah.
Smitty, the quarterback, another EFF quarterback, a Super Bowl champion.
Probably go down in the EFFL Hall of Fame also.
Oh, good point. One of the best quarterbacks that the league's ever had. He decided he wanted to be his own captain. There was a little
riff, huh?
A little riff going on with Empire State. You know, Tracy and Smitty decided to part ways.
Well, let's take a look into that. What do you think about that? How does Empire State look now? Because it seems like all they really lost was Smitty.
Well, they got Brent back. And he was a key in their championship run.
True.
What I did love about the team when they did win the title that season was that their three captains, which was Brent, Tracy, and Smitty, they worked well together. It was a good synergy.
Yeah.
So if you want to use that as a guide for maybe what SOA is going through, that may be the little blueprint that you should look at. But like any good team, you know, Eagles may get involved. The other side of, people might want to see what the other side of the grass look like. So
let's take a look into that. What does the other side of the grass look like?
Well, Brent left and came back. So you know what I mean. So
my question is this: how is Smitty looking on the other side of the grass?
Well, right now he's got a talented team.
Yeah,
he did put together a talented team. Okay, La Familia is a talented team. Another team, if they get their act together, I see them doing some big things in this season, in the regular season, and in the postseason also. But it's different now. When you're the captain, everything's on you. I think Smitty can pull it off. It might not happen in season 1, but like I said, they do have the talent to put everything together. Empire State has to come back because after they won the chip, maybe they got big-headed. I think. Injuries happen.
How many seasons ago was a chip?
I would say maybe 3 seasons ago. They got to the playoffs, don't get me wrong.
So it probably was about time for a change too.
Maybe a change. You know what? Every good team's, you have to go through a change.
I can agree.
And speaking of change and things that need to happen, let's go to Terror Squad. The team that used to run this league. That five-time defending champions. Right now, maybe the past 3 seasons, 3-4 seasons, they don't even look like Terror Squad. They're not even a frightening squad.
What could be the cause of that? Could it be age? Could it be
familiarity? They're the elder squad right now.
Could it be familiarity?
They're old.
Could it be familiarity in the league?
I think right now, to be quite honest, Herman, and I want to get your input on this. I think the league is probably the most talented the league has been in a long time. With the additions of some new teams, I think in the infusion of new talent, a lot of young players have come in. I think this is the league. Almost every team I think is so talented that they can win the chip. But they're young, and they used to have the young players. Terror Squad used to have the young players to go with the veterans.
Chemistry.
Right now, I don't see that right now.
Chemistry is not a forever thing. So, I guess maybe in weeks to come, do you think maybe they should make some changes?
Well,
maybe in some weeks to come,
they need to make some changes. Changes have been made to them. We'll get into that a little bit later. Something happened during the course of the season. That breaking news happened that we'll get into later on. So stay tuned. But you got it. With this league, you have to have young talent. And like a team like Onyx, who they infuse young talent. And Onyx is a real talented team. Got to give their quarterback, Chico, credit. He's done a good job releasing a lot of control. But also,
he revamped his team.
He revamped his team very well.
You can't really compare the two because Terror Squad has the exact same teams, if I'm not mistaken, since 5 Super Bowls ago.
No, but the core has been the same. It's almost like, you know, I mean,
terror squad.
the core has been the terror squad.
But Onyx core is
Onyx is
every 2 years,
right.
probably changes.
Right. But the problem with them is because they have so many talented players, they get too many penalties. You know what I mean? Like, they have so many players. But if they get their stuff together, they're another team that can be dangerous later on. You know, you have they added Rashi, Flash. Greg Ellis left, I believe, Untouchables to join Onyx. You still have D-Way and Toon, very good team, and Christian, and also who's a very good player.
So they just lost Bray. They started off with a young man named Bray,
right?
And then now they didn't. I don't even think he's there anymore.
Well, so. Bray, who decided to leave Skywalker's.
I think maybe he has an ego or a big head.
Bray's a good player.
He's a very talented
He's a very talented player. He's a very talented player, but you know, like a lot of guys, it's almost like a gift and a curse. Sometimes they
does the talent I guess what I'm getting at is, does the talent outweigh the output from a player? And are we getting equal talent to output?
Oh, the talent. What he produces on the field, he produces. You know, there's no denying that. So it all depends on the type of team and the leadership that you have.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? If you have the good touch on leadership, you can deal with that. Listen, wide receivers are divas. We all know that, man. Wide receivers are divas. Get them the ball. They want to show out. But when you're talented and you can show out, you got to deal with it. Another team that did some things during the offseason was Mandel. Now, Mandel hates being called man down, Mandel. That was what they were saying.
They call him what now?
Man down, Mandel.
Okay.
Mandel. Mandel, he's probably the nomad of the league.
Mm-hmm.
I think Mandel's played for every team possible that the league's ever had. Even
twice.
Twice over.
He's a pretty good player, though. You know, he must be pretty good if they want you to come back twice.
He must be pretty good. Or they need some players. But, you know, he's been in the league almost since the inception, and he finally has a team. He's got a good team. I will say I like his team. The only thing about Tri-City is, can they handle Mandel's hard leadership?
That's a tough one.
It is tough.
That's a tough one. He carries a mean little stick with him. You know, he runs with a little hard.
Very verbal.
Yeah, very verbal.
Always talking to the officials.
Yeah.
Always looking for something from the officials.
He's loyal to his team now.
Well, it's his team now. That's why he's loyal. If it wasn't his team, he'll be a nomad. He'll go to the next team that he can go.
So you saying, nah, I ain't gonna get into that. So, Mandel has a pretty good team.
But he has a good team. And if they can handle his leadership, and you know, he's very hard on his players, very abrasive. Very abrasive. If they can handle that. Another team that might do things. You know, they might do some big things later on in the season. Team Hollywood.
I like that team.
Team Hollywood's a good team, man. They're a very good team. There's no denying that they were
not
undefeated
that big, not super fast.
No.
Even has one of the most smallest players in the league, and he packs one of the biggest punches.
You're absolutely right.
Little man D.
Yeah. Team Hollywood is a very good team. They come together. They always in sync.
I'm looking for big things from you, fellas. Herman is looking for big things from you.
You did very well last season, your first season. You know, you did very well, led by Pops, you know, on the sideline coaching. Pops doing his thing. Love seeing his son play. Great quarterback. But you did very well in the regular season. Gotta prove it in the postseason, fam. Gotta prove it in the postseason. You know? You make your name in the regular season, you earn your fame in the postseason. So there you go.
It's true indeed.
All right. Now the team that goes under the radar, the defending champions, Skywalkers. Now Skywalkers, they had an eventful offseason. Players left after winning the championship, which happens to every team.
Is it a slumber party or something?
Well, we're gonna get into a slumber party because something happened to a former Skywalkers player. They lost one of their better receivers. Exodus. One of the better receivers in the league. One of the key components in that championship team. He left. They didn't match the offer that the Untouchables, the contract the Untouchables offered X. And apparently, from my sources, X signed this contract with Untouchables. He left the defending champs. Hannibal's very underrated. There's a team that goes under the radar. They kind of like the San Antonio Spurs. Some people might say they're boring, but I love what you said. That means they're good.
Yeah, they're good. If they're boring, and I mean, you think of all the boring athletes: Floyd Mayweather, Bernard Hopkins,
Tim Duncan,
Skywalkers, Super Bowls, wins, a lot of team commodity. I will to give a plus. A lot of team commodity. One thing that I do give Hannibal directly is that he keeps his team nucleus for the most part. Win, lose, or draw, rain, sleet, or snow. They stay together for the most part, other than worldly events. They show up every week, so that's a big plus. I think the EFFL league should be proud to have a team like Skywalker's in it. To be honest, very good team, really upstanding, not too many problems, good sportsmanship. You know what I'm saying?
They got great players.
Great players.
What's his name? Debo, great player
Debo
also.
both ways.
Goes both ways on the line in offense and defense. They did add Davion. They did add Davion. I like Davion, man. Mm-hmm. Great trash talker. He backs it up. He backs it up.
And when he doesn't, this is one thing that I really like him for the most. When he doesn't, he can take it.
Yeah,
he can eat.
And like any good player, it doesn't matter what league, professional, flag, doesn't matter. Especially if you play cornerback or anything like that, you have to have a short memory. Mm-hmm. He forgets it. What next play? Let's go. Mm-hmm. If he gets beat, he's gone to the next play, and he usually tries to do something. And 9 times out of 10, he usually does make it. Make something happen after he gets beat. But Skywalkers, can they repeat? That's the question, Herman. Can Skywalkers repeat?
I feel they have the capability to. Will they repeat? EFFL is a strong league, year in, year out. I've been telecasting this show now for about 3-4 years, and every year EFFL gets stronger. Remember when the OGs was here and they ran off, I want to say about 4 in a row.
OGs ran 4 in a row.
And I know right after that, Terror Squad ran off 5. But I remember that being the beginning of the league. The teams, not as many teams. Teams that we did have, not as strong. You know what I'm saying? We had a little problem with location. A few little elements that had to go along with the league. But now, with it being, we got turf.
The league is strong as ever right now.
We got some pretty good refs and officials. The soup guy, but you know what I'm saying, dude? He tickled me too, man.
Soup, I love Soup.
He's a cool guy.
Soup is good people.
He's good people, man.
He's good people.
Some of his little antics though, and his little ways, and that's a whole nother show. That's a whole nother show.
Dude Vlad, he's been in, he's out. You don't know what's going on with him. Taking stats sometimes. They get upset because he rounds it off. Not really but these players, some of them are good. Some of them not too bright. There's no yards on the field, folks. So if there's no yards on the field, it's pretty much you have to estimate how far or how long somebody ran or threw the ball.
I feel a little heat coming from my co-host right now.
I'm just saying, as the attorney of the official, I'm just saying. We're going on to the last team.
Okay, yeah.
I'm just saying. Yeah. Last team to talk about Outlaws. Former champion. They were in the finals last season, I believe. Mm-hmm. They almost defended their championship, which would have been the first time since Terror Squad.
Yeah.
Great players.
We haven't had no repeats since Terror Squad.
No, we haven't had repeats since Terror Squad.
It's interesting.
Marquise, Ronnie, D. Ward as the quarterback.
D. Ward, leader. I like D. Ward. D. Ward is a strong quarterback. He's very verbal. He's very outspoken. He's a very confident quarterback. I don't think there is not a confident quarterback that's ever touched the EFFL as D. Ward.
Wow, really? You think more confident than, say, a quarterback like Tuesday from Terror Squad?
Yes, way more confident.
Okay.
He's way more confident. The thing I like about D. Ward, when he's off, he's on, if you let him tell it. If you ask him, when he's off, it's like, man, that don't mean nothing to me. You know what I'm saying?
Short memory.
Yeah, short memory, like he's supposed to, but all good athletes do have short memory. So that's one thing that I do like with D Ward. I think that they have good receivers that run very good routes. I just think they drop a lot of balls. I've seen them drop quite a few balls through some of the post Super Bowl seasons that I think starting to play a little bit on the situation. You know what I'm saying? I also believe that because they have had a quarterback change since last year to this year, even when they won their Super Bowl. When they won their Super Bowl, they had mostly Sedale. And
Where is he
next year?
Where is he now?
You know, I really don't know. I know Sedale is he's into other things, but I really haven't seen or heard of Sedale. I don't think it's any inner team.
That's one thing. I think Ronnie's one of the better captains, and I like what you said. You don't think there's any animosity with it.
Yeah, I don't think
Ronnie runs a tight ship. When you have talented players like Marquise who can sometimes have outbursts, you just let him do his thing. Check also a good leader on the team. You got T. Bray, Big T, Tony Bray, Big Tom.
Yeah, Big Tom.
It's hysterical,
Big Tom.
But he runs that line.
Yeah.
He's a handful on that line.
Yeah.
Both sides. On both sides. It kind of reminds me, if you want to compare them to an NFL team, the Seahawks. Seahawks won the championship 2 seasons ago.
Okay.
They defended the title last year. They lost on that play when they didn't give the ball to Beast Mode. Like, we're not even going to get into that. I lost some money on that. But do you think they can repeat and get to the Super Bowl for a 3rd year in a row?
I think they have, once again, I think they have the capabilities. You have to complete, though. You have to make big catches. I seen a couple of catches drop. I went to a game about a couple of weeks ago, and I seen a couple of catches drop for like 35, 40 yards.
Yeah, Batman kind of looked like Bruce Wayne that day.
Yeah,
he was looking like Bruce
Batman
Wayne.
Dropped a couple of balls.
Yeah, he was looking like
Josh
Bruce Wayne that
dropped
day.
a couple of balls.
Yeah, Josh dropped a lot of interceptions.
I seen a few go Chet pop off Chet's hands. And these are very, very good receivers. I'm not taking nothing away from your receivers. You're very good receivers. I know Batman will go down in the Hall of Fame for the EFFL also. It's just I know those catches need to be made. Even in the win that they had, that they won at the last minute or the tie at the last minute.
That was week 1, and we're gonna get
that was week 1. A couple of catches, I think, if Batman would have caught that game, it would have been a different outcome.
Would have been a different outcome.
Came down to that. So I think those little things will play into how the season goes on for some of these teams. Not to go back to a team, but that's one of the things that I also like that I compare with the other teams in the league is Untouchables and D. D is kind of in tune with his receivers very, 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 very well.
And the addition of course, with X.
With X, So I'm not Untouchables. I'm sorry, Hollywood.
Oh, sorry, Hollywood.
Excuse me. I'm sorry. He's very in tune with his receivers. He's very in tune with Smack. He's in tune with D. He's in tune with Racer. So with that being said, those type of teams make the other teams start to pick up their play. Also, like with Onyx. We're looking at Onyx and how they're playing and how their coach Chico is starting to relinquish some of the series on quarterback. As you notice throughout some of the weeks, his team is getting stronger and stronger by the weeks because of just making small little, decisions that could just fine tune. So with all that being said, it just does nothing but builds up the team, and those type of teams keeps us going.
And real quick on Untouchables, I know we talked a little bit on X joining that team. They were a very good team last season, but they lost Greg Ellis. Greg Ellis went to Onyx, but they did get X. Vic Hines is still on that team. I think they put maybe one of the best wide receiver.
New quarterback is not shabby. New quarterback is not shabby for Untouchables.
And I think they have one of the best leaders that I've ever seen in any flag football leagues.
Mac.
Mac. When I love the way this kid plays. I love the way he brings the heat. But he plays in a controlled anger.
Very good sportsman.
Very good sportsman. But he plays with controlled anger. He plays intense, but it's not anything dirty or anything like that. Like JT in the backfield, he's a character.
Yeah, but he's pretty good in the backfield.
He's very good.
Now he was with another team last season. JT was with Outlaws last season. Seems like he's getting a little bit more shine from what I've been noticing. He's playing more series. he's more.
I like him
to the plays. You know, he's getting dirty into the plays.
Yeah, they're using him a little bit more as a wide receiver. I like him as the safety. He plays a good safety in the defense. They have a good defense. I like Untouchables. They're a good team. Well, that was the preview, breaking down what everything happened before the season started. Now we can get into the first 4 weeks of the season.
Smart Sound.
Hi, I'm Christian Wise, and you are watching the EFF Zone.
Week 1 of the FFL season started with Untouchables versus Chi-City in the first game of the season. Untouchables shut out Chi-City. It was pretty mad for Mandel.
That's Mandel's team.
Yeah, Mandel's team. Well, Mandel team. Man down. I'm sorry, your team went down. Chi-City, I guess they were still trying to work out the kinks. It's the first game of the season.
First week. First time in the EFFL for some of the players. Give them a week, give them some time.
Yeah, a couple players decided to leave after that week 1. That was Greg Ellis, Rashi, and Flash. They decided to join Onyx the following week after the loss to Chi-City. Second game was a very intense, emotional game. Herman, if I ask you who's the most hated team in the league, who would you say?
Team that probably has on the Tracy jersey.
Empire State. Empire State has an X on their back. Kind of warranted. They talking hella trash. Everybody talks trash, but if we're talking about pure trash talkers, their captain Tracy Dukes, he's up there. He's at the top.
He's on another level with it.
He's on another level with it. Queensbridge. You know what I mean? I understand. They went against SOA. Now look, if you want to laugh and enjoy some funny stuff that the league has been doing prior to the kickoff of the season, watch some of the confessionals that the captains had. The confessionals is on the Facebook page of the EFF League. Just follow, so go to the EFF League Facebook and you find it. The confessionals with the captains were some of the funniest things I've seen in a long time. Great job by the commission in doing that. But the number one news in the offseason was the SOA merger. And because of the SOA merger, Sons of America, a lot of players left Street Finest to go to Empire State, like we mentioned. So, Empire State versus SOA was the first time one of the former teams that broke up from the merger, because of the merger, played against the merged team, the so-called dream team. And SOA won. They beat Empire State. Kenny was the quarterback. Kenny was very emotional that game. He wanted that. He wanted to show Sammy. He wanted to show Sammy why he was MVP. And it was a great game, a very intense game defensively. But Johnny, like you said, White Johnny Blanco, did everything that he needed to do, and scored the touchdown to win. What did you think about that game?
You only need 1 point to win the game. Good game, strong game. Both defenses did well. Both offenses did well. I like both quarterbacks, so she only need a point to win.
What was shocking about that game was that Chris was not the quarterback for SOA that game. It was Mike James.
Yes.
And Mike James did a good job that game, running, getting out of a lot of
potential sacks.
Because Empire State was known for their line.
He threw one beautiful ball across the field for about maybe like 45, 50 yards.
He did do that. Empire State, known for their defensive line. They know how to get pressure to the quarterback. Mike James did a good job avoiding the pressure and getting out, getting positive yards. Sammy played well that game. It was a good start for SOA, and I know that Empire State wanted that game, but Empire State was also missing some key players. Brent wasn't there for that game. So in the week 1 battle, SOA won, shut out Empire State 6-0.
They need to score.
Third game, Team Hollywood versus Terror Squad. Tied game, 8-8.
Surprising.
Very
surprising.
Terror Squad was winning that game. They were dominating. But they gave up a late touchdown and a 2-point conversion. And Team Hollywood, who was like we say, a very good team in the regular season. But, I mean, it's week one. Still got to work out, like I said, some of the kinks. A lot of teams, just getting to know each other, adding new players. Terror Squad, I think they really needed that game to win. It's been a while, man. It's been a long time for them. It's been a while since anything good's happened to Terror Squad. I think they really needed that win. And couldn't hold on. Fourth game, maybe the shocker of week one. Onyx over La Familia.
Man, that's interesting, man. That's just fun. Have you seen La Familia's additions that Schmitty has brought?
Schmitty, alright, I'm being honest with y'all. Listen to this. Schmitty's got a guy on the offensive line that looks like he should be playing Sundays for the San Diego Chargers.
What'd you get the dude from?
Where did you get Buddy from? Okay, he looked like he came from a cave. Okay, I'm not knocking this dude. This dude is so big, nobody moves him. He moves you. Okay, he is the whole line. That's just one dude. The skill positions.
The 14. Who's the number 14 dude? Who's that dude?
I don't know. All I know is that he plucks balls out of the air like it's nothing, like it's a feather. He's just plucking the ball out of the air. But week one.
But at the end of the day, they still took a loss to Onyx.
Chico started the game as quarterback, led Onyx to a drive. Great throws. He threw a 63-yard bomb to Bray.
Chico threw a 63-yard bomb to Bray?
Yes, he did.
And I seen it.
No, Chico Bray had two big catches. One, he threw a bomb to Bray. Well, Bray caught it like in the 20 and got some yards out of the catch. The second throw was D-Way, also throwing a bomb to I forgot his name right now.
To Bray.
I'm sorry, to Bray.
Now, at the end of the day, La Familia still took an L from Onyx.
Yes, they did. With all those acquisitions, Onyx still whooped La Familia's ass, pretty much. Okay? Chico started off the game as quarterback for Onyx and did very well. Very well. Throwing a long bomb to Bray to set up a touchdown. He also threw the extra point conversion. And what I like about Onyx, what I saw so far in week one, and they've continued that along throughout the season, is the Chico's relinquished some of the duties. He knows when he needs to be in and he knows when he needs to be out. They use D-Wade very well. D-Wade, just a good player.
What do you think about that? Do you think?
I think it's very good. I think it's very good. Because I think Chico could strategically lead the team down the field. But in certain situations, you may need a D-Way, you may need a Greg Ellis, who they added on for following that, just to get the ball, because they have playmakers now. Okay, in that game they had Bray, who decided after that to leave to go rejoin Skywalkers. But they did add new players. My only problem with Onyx is that because they're so deep, they have too many. They probably lead the league in penalties for too many men on the field.
It's a leadership thing. You have to take care of the organization within the team before you get on the field. So that has nothing to do with the play on the field. That only has something to do with who's ever the leader is.
Toon, you got to see Toon.
Is the captain or
is
Toon the captain?
Toon is the captain this season. So Toon, I love you, baby, but got to get your team. The official. I know the official.
Do you think it's Toon's fault that he can't get no type of
he's got the captaincy this season, so it's on him. But one thing about Toon, he's a very emotional player. So some people might say he pouts a little bit when things don't go his way. So it's almost like Greg Hardy of the Dallas Cowboys. If you're causing a situation, it's going to be everybody on the sideline is going to look at it, and especially if you're the leader of the team and you're doing that, it can bridge a gap between the team. It can cause a rift. But if he gets everything back together and just sets his team, they know what they're going to do. I just don't understand why they have so many penalties like that. They don't commit pass interference, offsides, or anything like that. Their majority of their penalties is too many men on the field or not having a helmet.
And the helmets come from the person on their team.
Right.
They should always have the helmet.
Yes.
So, yeah, I guess.
That's another thing I want to say. Guys, you're playing flag football with helmets and flags. Why aren't there having flags on your waist or helmets? It's flag football, folks. That's just my little tirade with that. But, yeah. Onyx defeated La Familia. And it was a good start for them for the season. Next game, Outlaws, Skywalkers. That was a good game.
That's the repeat of the Super Bowl?
Yes, it was a repeat of the Super Bowl.
The last 2 Super Bowls.
It was a very big game. You can understand why they were the 2 Super Bowl EFF finalists. And you mentioned it earlier. The game, a lot of trash talking. Drop balls, shocking by some. Davion, Marquise, both teams were dropping balls. A lot of trash talking between Davion and Marquise. And on the final play of the game, down 6-2, they throw a 40-yard bomb.
And Davion misses his assignment.
Davion misses his assignment. Marquise jumps up, snatches it, comes down, touchdown, looks at Davion, throws the ball down on the ground. And Davion, for that week, won the Shitty Award.
Only in the EFF.
Only in the EFFL. Only in the EFFL could you find the Shitty Award. The Shitty Award has replaced the Aubrey, because a lot of guys are emotional. But now, it's the Shitty Award. You get shitted on, you're catching the shitty. Or the toilet bowl. You know what I mean? It's a toilet bowl around your neck. Alright? Toilet bowl and toilet paper around your neck. Alright? Yeah, for the crap that you put out there, and all that trash that you talk, if you can't back it up and you get scored on the last play, oh yeah, you get the Shitty Award. But, oh yeah.
Quite graphic, isn't it?
Very. But hey, that's how it is in the EFF. That was week 1. So a lot of teams still needed to work out some kinks. Some teams did very well. Week 2. Skywalkers defeated Onyx to go 2-0. I'm sorry, to go 1-1. That was their first win of the season. It was Onyx's first loss. They got back a winning shot. What do you think about that game?
Personal opinion, I think Skywalkers is a stronger team due to chemistry, due to experience, due to longevity of each player on the same team. That's number 1. Number 2, Onyx can beat a team Skywalker. I just think it was a lot of penalties in that game and a lot of miscommunication, no organization, slight mutiny on the field from time to time. Those are things that I was speaking of early that really need to be taken care of before you even come to the field. You know, every team needs practice. I know Allen Iverson made a remark about practice, but it's not true. Everybody needs practice. Only sports that truly don't need practice, but it will show, will probably be individual sports. Football is not one.
Yeah.
You know, it's a sport where you have to rely, you have to depend, you have to uphold your responsibility. It's kind of like you have to do your chores. You can't miss them or the whole team will suffer. So I think Onyx's problems come from before they touch the field, let's just say. And I think the sooner that they, this being week 2, the sooner that they address these problems, I think the sooner they'll probably get back to a winning type situation like they had in week 1.
Okay. Hollywood beat Empire State.
Hollywood beating Empire State.
Empire State now, after week 2, fell to 0-2. Hollywood 2-0. Still proving their dominance in the regular season.
I truly believe that Empire State is still feeling a little shock of losing a player like Schmitty. Schmitty he's a talented player, you know what I'm saying? But he's like a leg on a body. You know what I'm saying? I think that's felt right now. I think in this case you can grow a leg back in this situation. I just think they haven't grew their leg back at this point. I think they need to start growing their leg back as soon as possible before the season gets wasted. It's the mental and the mind state. It's the heart. Football is about a lot of heart. You know what I'm saying? Every team got talent. Every team got speed. Every team, a player can catch extraordinary balls. Every team that I've seen got 2 people who can throw almost the length of the football field. But who can execute, like you said about Hollywood? Who's going to execute when it's time to execute? Who's going to come through? Who's going to make the big plays? Who will not worry about the refs and just play the game of football while the other team is worrying about the refs and get accomplished what they need to get accomplished? That's going to separate a championship team from I'm just a team that shows up in the league every year. I pay my league fee. We're going to go to the meetings and we're going to do this. No, we came to win. I believe that Hollywood is a team that came to win a Super Bowl. I don't see them taking their jerseys out of the EFFL until they won a Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? I see untouchables. I don't see untouchables with the team that they have now. It's just too sweet. It's too tasty. I don't see them with the players that they have on the line from JD, from Vic, from Mac, Vontae, from all these players. Even X coming over. I don't see them not doing what needs to be done and forever how long it takes. The Untouchables is one of them teams. They're not just here to show up, to come every week, to just pay their $10 and play and drink a little Gatorade or something. They come with something on their mind. They come to get a W, and I don't think they're going to lead the league of EFFL until they accomplish a Super Bowl or two. Oh. That's just my personal opinion. You know what I'm saying?
I agree with you, man. Yeah, they come to play. They bring it every week.
Every week. Even in a loss. I've seen them, I think, last season. I seen them play a loss to where I'm just watching the game and going over the stats and stuff. I forgot who won the game at the end. I thought they won the game. And they had lost. You know what I'm saying?
Very good team. Yeah. Very good team. They went 3-0. Outlaws suffered their first loss. In the revenge game. Another game. I got to give the schedule makers credit. They put together some intriguing matchup early in the season.
You must be talking about Empire State.
Week 3's matchup. That was the game of the week. Smitty versus his former team.
Well, Smitty had to eat a little bit of dust on this one and take a loss.
Now, what's interesting, let me give you a little dynamic of this. Do you remember week 1? Do you remember we were coming to the stadium, to the field? Mm-hmm. And we saw Smitty wearing an Empire State jersey?
Yeah.
Having everyone wonder,
what's going on?
The hell?
What's happening?
I thought he started his own squad. Smitty was playing mind games. He was playing mind games with everyone. Empire State. I remember Tracy pulling in, and Tracy was like, "Whoa, the hell? Why is he rocking the former team jersey?" He's trying to play mind games. This setup, this battle in week 3. They got Brent back. They had their players. They beat La Familia. La Familia, I thought, was a favorite in that game. La Familia's got talent, folks. Like, it's ridiculous how talented they are. The talent that they have. Okay? I'm not over-exaggerating when I say they have a receiver who basically, when he goes up for the ball, is just plucking a feather in the air. I'm not lying when I say that. Empire State was led by Tracy, and like you said, that mouth that roars. He is the mouth of the... I want to say he's like Jimmy Hart. He's like the mouth of the South. He's the mouth of the West. The mouth of the EFF League. They did beat La Familia. Herman, your thoughts?
Like I said, man, his mouth was positive. I think he used it in an effective manner, and I think his team was able to bounce off that and, get a victory. I truly feel about La Familia that they just not familiar with the EFFL right now.
That was the line of the week, Herman.
Oh yeah, I got
Casanova of Empire State.
La Familia wasn't familiar with the game. But yeah, that's the only thing that I feel right now. It's just they're not really familiar with the EFFL. But once La Familia gets familiar,
it's a problem.
They get to be a problem.
Casanova, I got to give it to you. That was the line of the month. All right, line of the season. He said after the game, La Familia wasn't familiar with the game. Okay. Very, very intense game. This was a revenge game. Tracy wanted to win bad. Smitty wanted to win bad. Smitty suffered the out.
Week 3, baby. As long as he doesn't harp on, I think he's okay.
Wow.
That's week 3.
Empire State, first victory. They're 1-2. La Familia also 1-2. Onyx beat Tri-City.
Sounds about right.
Onyx was just, going at Onyx was favorite. Onyx has more talent.
They was favored by a touchdown and a half.
Yeah. And they did their thing. Just too much talent. The acquisition of Rashi Flash, Greg Ellis.
Well, those acquisitions came from Tri-City.
Exactly. And another revenge game. Like I said, great schedule making by the schedule makers.
Yeah.
They did their thing against their former team. Mandel, 0-3, winless in the league.
He's used to it though, so maybe next week he can, week 4 he might can change it.
Hopefully. Hollywood took care of Sons of America. It wasn't even close.
It wasn't even close.
I think it was a 28-0 big beat down.
That's what happens. That's that chemistry. That's that chemistry I'm talking about right there. If you look at Hollywood's team, D is not a big time quarterback. You notice. The other D, he's not even a big time football player. Schmack has a little size. Racer is so, but catch balls. All balls are being caught. You understand what I'm saying? All positive yards. We need it first, we get it first. On defense, I don't know where the stops are coming from, but on defense, you're not really running on their DBs. You know
No, I mean Hollywood's a good team. They beat SOA 25-20. So
it just impressive because of their size.
Right. But did SOA show you a little bit? They were the
SOA has promise. SOA has a lot of promise. I truly believe that it's a lot of players in this league that if they play more football and leave a lot of the stuff that football players don't deal with. They don't deal with the refs too much. They don't deal with nothing but the X and O's and their assignments under their plays. I think that's a team. If they could get everybody to get on that same page right there, I think their record would reflect that.
Now, Skywalkers, they beat the winless Terror Squad.
Yeah, that's about right at this point. I do believe, like I said, we can go back to that 72. But I was looking at a 77 Monte Carlo one time, and I saw it around about 84. I was like, man, that ain't that many years. And the dude that bought the Monte Carlo, man, he hooked it up, man, in like 3 months, man, brand new. The engine, he had Edelbrock engine. It was a 350 big block. So you had the Northern steering wheel, the iron, you had everything you need on that Monte Carlo. You understand what I'm saying?
I hear you.
So, Terror Squad is kind of like that Monte Carlo to me, you know. If they could fix some of that molding, get some of that engine work done, you know, who knows? But week 3 still undefeated is hey,
still winless. Yeah, winless. Yeah, still winless.
Look at the body shop, you know, good mechanics.
All right, now we get into last week, week 4. So you're caught up. You're caught up, pretty much up to date. What a week 4 it was. Let's start with the first game. In a battle of winless teams, Tri-City gets their first victory. Round of applause. Round of applause. All right, Mandel, you finally got a win.
Who did they beat?
They beat Terror Squad in a battle of winless teams.
It was a Cadillac, Broham. And it had a convertible top, and the top used to get stuck. The guy who bought the car, he took the top. And the guy said, man, you know what? It's just 3 screws and this rod in the back. So we took the 3 screws and the rod, and we had a brand new top.
It was a weird game, Herman. It was a weird game. Because we're using the car analogy. It seemed like they had different mechanics, Terror Squad. One series, Tuesday was caught leading the series. Then another series, there was another guy.
Who was that guy?
I don't know who that guy was. I know that one of their receivers, a guy from Chi-Town who scored their touchdown, he looked pretty good. He was pretty impressive. DeAndre still played well. But they lost again. 0-2-1. No, 0-3-1. Breaking news. After this loss to Chi City, it was a little implosion in Terror Squad.
Did we have some situations going on?
Situations happen. 2 members of the core. 2 key members of the core. Yes. Have decided to jump ship.
It says here on my notes that Country and Tori have left Terror Squad. Is this true?
Yes. That is the breaking news. DeAndre Green and Tori Bright have decided to leave.
Did they get something to play?
Terror Squad. And now they have joined. Are you ready for this, folks? This is ridiculous. The rich shouldn't even get richer. That's ridiculous. Alright? This is the difference. That's why there's a 99% and there's a 1%. DeAndre and Tori have decided to take their talents to La Familia. Wow. Herman, what do you think about that? After that loss to Chi City, Terror Squad finally imploded.
As far as La Familia is concerned, nothing but strength. Nothing but just cold. Just cold. Just nothing but more strength. As far as Terror Squad is concerned, now remember I was telling you the story about the engine, and you take the engine out and you replace it and rebuild it and whatnot.
Right.
It's the key in that story. The key is you got to replace the engine and or rebuild it.
Okay.
You just can't take the engine out and just keep it out.
So did you think Terror Squad just leaving the engine out right now?
I don't know. I'll ask you again. Did they find somebody to replace those two?
Like I said earlier in the program, I know Wayne, from my sources, I've heard Wayne's been looking many places. Rumor has it there should be four new prospects showing up in week 5.
Have they ever played the EFFL?
I do not know. Like I said, my sources are they're looking into it, but apparently they're short, fast, talented players. A couple of them are short, fast, talented. A couple of them are tall, long, strong, young, ready to show out.
Now, you know, Country is a talented player. He represents about 2 players every now and then.
Country Hall of Fame, first ballot, EFF League. Tory, great athlete, great receiver. Unlock Familia?
We don't want to speak about that. What we want to speak about is how devastating of the loss to Terror Squad. That's nothing but.
Well, you know what? It is, but then here's the other thing, though. I think we all knew sooner or later the breakup had to happen. But it just felt like nobody wanted to be the first one to break up.
Question.
And sometimes you just got to be
Did Terror
man enough
Squad,
to go.
Did Terror Squad lose its pectin, its nucleus, its core?
I believe we might be seeing the end
Because
of Terror Squad.
Because if we take out Tuesday, we still have a quarterback to throw to somebody. If we take out the quarterback that we use for Tuesday, we still have some form of quarterback, be it Desmond, to throw to somebody.
Right, but now you don't have the receivers. You don't have the
You have Des
position. You only have Des. And, you know, you could defenses in the EFF, which are some of the best defenses you've seen all of flag football, they can move the coverage over to them. But we'll see. They got a little nice guy out there from Chi-Town, who from West Palm Beach also, who played very well. He scored a touchdown against Chi City. But yeah, that was the first of many breaking news that happened after week 4, after the loss to Chi City. Country and Tory.
I'd like to see this week to see what's gonna how that's gonna pan out.
So, second game, Untouchables Empire State. Untouchables suffered their first loss. Something was out of order with them. It was how can I say it? A peculiar game. Very intense. A lot of trash talking going on. Brent was the key in this game.
Yes, he was.
Brent was the key. For some reason, they had Untouchables had no match for him. He did his thing. And Empire State got their second win back-to-back, 2-2. Untouchables suffered their first loss. The game had to be called early. Due to a minor fracas. Words were said. We love trash talk in the league. I mean, come on, who doesn't trash talk? It's part of the it's part of the competition. But in the league, there's just sometimes you can't take it and there's a line. There's a line. You can't be a habitual line stepper. And there were lines that were stepped. There were lines that were crossed. And the game was called, and things happened after that we're going to get into, and there was a lot of fallout from that game. But Untouchables, Empire State won at the end of the day. They shut them out. They gave them a donut. Untouchables are usually the team that gives donuts, but they suffered a donut. Very weird game. Defensively, they were good, but I gave Empire State great. Their defense was phenomenal. Drew, Brent, Tracy was getting in the line. They were getting a lot of pressure. Number 9. Untouchables' defense was good also, but offensively they were just not in sync, and they suffered the loss. And Outlaws beat Onyx, but the big news in week 4 as we wrap it up was the Empire State victory over Untouchables, the suspension of JT and Tracy Dukes, and Terror Squad losing DeAndre and Tori. So you pretty much got caught up with everything that's happened at EFF. Week 5 is this Saturday. A lot of great games. Outlaws versus La Familia. Empire State versus Skywalkers. Onyx versus Terror Squad. Can Terror Squad get their first win? Big game for Onyx. Onyx can prove something to a lot of people if they can beat Terror Squad.
Terror Squad have a team at the game.
That's going to be a good. That's another question. How many members of Terror Squad is going to be there? We also have SOA versus Shy City. Can Shy City continue the positive that they did on Saturday, week 4? Can they continue that? And in the final game, Hollywood versus Untouchables. Big matchup. Game of the week. Game of the week. Can Untouchables, how will they do when JT gone for the next 2 weeks after his involvement? You know, can't wait. So thanks for everyone for joining us.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned for more of the EFFL. I'm Vladimere, and I'm Herman. See you again.